Hi Prerna,
Hi, Diya.
how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing great, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure being here.
This is our first podcast and you are our first guest.
Absolutely, and I'm very excited about this.
Great. Before we jump into the main topics, I would like to talk about you first, your journey in the company from being an admissions officer to being a VP at Education Services today. How has it been and the challenges that you have overcome and everything?
Absolutely. So, when I first started as an admissions officer back in March 2018, my primary focus was on reviewing students' applications and assessing their eligibility and even interviewing the students and, managing the entire admission cycle. And so over time, I excelled in my role, and as the days passed, I began taking initiatives to support my colleagues, whether it was answering queries or providing training or helping managing the efficiency and high volumes together as a team. And I think, as days passed, these efforts brought me into the forefront. And eventually, I was then appointed as the lead for the India admissions team. And this was a turning point in my journey as I had more control over streamlining the processes and managing teams effectively. And also, this was a time when I envisioned about bringing our service levels down to 24 hours and establishing ourselves as the leaders in the sector. And I think my growth has been directly aligned with the company's growth. And, as the organization scaled, so did my role. And this led me to create the structures and hierarchies and, to accommodate the increasing team size and partnerships. And I think my journey has really been filled with lots of challenges, whether it was scaling the team from 20 to over 200, implementing structures and KPIs or hierarchies, or even managing the high demands with limited staff.
Yeah.
But I have always believed that challenges bring out the inner leadership qualities. And I think one other element also that had played a key role in my growth is my will to challenge myself and to test my potential. And, I can't work in a stagnant manner at all. And I need this, continuous challenges to stay engaged and motivated in my work. So for me, work feels more fulfilling when there is something pushing me and driving me forward. And transitioning into the VP role has allowed me to think even bigger, shaping strategies and building collaborations and continuing to innovate in the education services. It's been a journey of constant growth, and I'm excited about what's ahead.
That's amazing how you kind of compiled everything in one. When you said in the earlier answer that continuing innovation at education services. Now, innovation is incomplete without our core values, and Oxford International is incomplete without its core values. When I meet and talk with people from our company, I see that there is one or the other core values is sparking in them, in their eyes. So when it comes to even when we have a conversation, you see that there is this passion and pride about everything what we do.
Yeah.
So how do you embody this our core values outside our four walls also, not just here but in your personal life as well?
For me, passion and pride are the two core values that really shape how I approach my work and even my personal life. I think it's the passion that drives me every day, whether it's helping students navigate their admissions journey or collaborating with the team, setting up new processes, or even working on myself and maintaining my health. Tackling new challenges. I generally love what I do, but the passion keeps me motivated to push the boundaries and deliver the best outcomes. And at the same time, there is this sense of pride that I feel being the part of the organization that's making such a meaningful impact. When I look at what I've achieved, whether it's setting industry benchmarks in service standards or building strong, efficient teams, it's hard not to feel proud. And that pride keeps me committed to upholding our values and always striving for excellence. So, in a way, passion keeps me going, and pride reminds me why it's all worth it.
That's amazing. Talking about passion keeps you driving, even as I said earlier, it's our core values that keeps us going, but it's kind of a pillar also for Oxford International.
That's right.
If you can light a point on that.
Yeah. So when I think about our core values,
Yeah.
and that's passion and pride, and care, smile, and integrity and creativity, they are like the pillars of everything that we do. For me, passion is what fuels my work every day. It's about genuinely loving what I do. Whether it's working with the team, finding new ways to tackle challenges, or guiding the students. Pride comes from knowing that we are part of something bigger. For example, helping students achieve their dreams and making a real impact in the education. And I think care is something I see in every interaction, whether it's supporting colleagues or ensuring we deliver the best experience for the students. It's that extra effort that we all put in to show we are here for them, right? And then there is smile. It's such a simple value, but I think it goes a long way. Whether it's about maintaining positivity even during busy times, or ensuring students and partners feel welcomed, it creates such a difference. And then integrity, I think it ties it all together for me. It's about being honest and transparent and reliable in everything we do. So, and lastly, creativity. It's what lets us innovate and stay ahead in such a dynamic industry. These values aren't just words, I think, but they are the foundation of how we operate in the organization.
Now, since you are here, I would like to talk about our Indian education system. I recently saw an interview by M. Jagdish Kumar. He's the chairman of UGC, where he stated that we have 0.3 billion Indian students in higher education system,
Right.
and out of which, like, India's population is 1.3 billion.
Correct.
Right? And it kind of shaping not only India's future but globally also.
Absolutely. I think India's education system is massive. Like you said, with over 300 million students across schools and higher education institutions, it's a scale that highlights just how crucial the education is to shaping our nation's future. And when we talk about the higher education landscape, the University Grant Commission, UGC, has been instrumental in regulating and supporting it. But what's also exciting is how the Indian education system is evolving. I think, take for instance, the National Education Policy.
Yeah.
It's a game changer in many ways.
Yeah.
It's pushing for a more holistic and multidisciplinary approach to learning, which is crucial in today's world. It's no longer just about the theoretical knowledge. It's about fostering critical thinking, creativity, and innovation, right? So I think India's education system stands at a unique crossroad, balancing scale, accessibility, and quality. I think these are the key factors in driving the country's progress and the global standing.
That's true. You know, when you talk about NEP, recently CBSE's curriculum also changed from 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4.
Correct.
And it kind of comes with certain challenges also, but as well as opportunities, not just education sector, but for the Indian students as well, right?
That's right.
What's your point on that?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest issues is the diversity of the students. They come from all sort of backgrounds, from different regions and languages and financial situations. For example, students from big cities are often better prepared for studying abroad, while those from smaller towns might need extra guidance with things like applications and cultural differences, or even funding. And another challenge I see is the visa requirements that keeps changing. There's always change, and it can get really confusing for students and their families to keep up. And helping them navigate those changes is a constant effort that we put. I think there's also a lot of competition among countries to attract Indian students, and universities around the world are offering scholarships and flexible programs and uh, great post study work opportunities to stand out. So it's a pretty crowded space.
That's true. Indian students, as you said, are in demand right now globally, and it's a quite crowded space, as mentioned by you. Um, can you paint a picture for us from your student days to now? It has completely evolved, and
Correct.
how has it been?
Absolutely. When I think back to my student days in 2000s, education in India felt very traditional. I think it was all about memorizing things and sticking to a set path, with little focus on applying what we learned in real life situations. The options for career paths were quite limited and rigid. For example, engineering or medicine or government jobs. These were seen as the ideal choices back then. And schools also emphasized just on theoretical knowledge, and there was a little focus on practical application, or skills that could directly prepare us for the real world. But today, I think the transformation in education is remarkable. The system is more inclusive and flexible, offering students the opportunity to combine different fields of study and follow their passion. Um, there's a strong focus on critical thinking and problem solving and skill development. I think this is better because it prepares students for a diverse range of careers. And education has shifted from just preparing the students for exams to preparing them for life. And it's inspiring to see how the Indian education system has evolved in offering more choices and opportunities than ever before.
When you talk about you studied in early 2000s, I studied like I'm 2-3 years old, pass out. There's a complete change in when you talk about your education. Even I can put forth in that I studied in a CBSE board, and where we were more towards creativity, towards gaming, and they wanted us to be part of drama clubs, they wanted us to be part of sports, and everything in general, to have a holistic approach. When it comes towards, I changed it just because I changed my board, because I wanted to focus on my writing skills.
Right.
And that in a kind of manner, you see that there's so much going on, there's so many boards, and they're planning to put it under one plate. So it kind of becomes here and there, and how it has evolved.
Absolutely. I think the rise of digitization in education has completely reshaped how we approach the learning. And it's been a game changer, right? Making education more accessible and flexible. We have seen traditional classrooms shift to online platforms, and this has created opportunities for personalized learning experiences. And whether it's virtual classroom or online courses or digital resources, I think technology has made the education more adaptable to different needs and the schedules. Um, and the digital transformation has opened up new ways, right, to deliver the education. And OIDI, which is our digital institution, it's one of our divisions. it has been leading the way by offering online programs like professional development programs or skill-based trainings or and advanced certifications that allow students to gain practical and job-relevant skills. So it's no longer just about earning a degree, but it's about learning right skills in a flexible and a digital-first environment.
Now, coming to the global education scenario, we are seeing a trend where Indian students stay on work permit abroad after their studies, and how international students are addressing the skill gaps.
A lot of Indian students are choosing to study abroad after their studies, and especially in the places like UK, USA, Canada, and Australia. And it's a great way for them to gain some real work experience and put what they have learned into practice. And it's not just about earning money. I think it's about developing the skills that are in demand all over the world. And when they finish their studies, though, they often realize they still have some skill gap. And things like communication, leadership, or technical skills. So a lot of them go for internships or trainings and jobs to fill those gaps. And universities are also offering more placement options these days to help students with this, which is really helping. And for Indian students, staying on after study abroad is a great way, is not only to get that international experience, but also make themselves more competitive, whether they decide to stay or go back home.
For example, some of our students are working in NHS.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have seen some really impressive examples of our students excelling internationally, especially in places like the NHS in the UK. And for instance, some of our graduates have gone on to take EOs in healthcare management and even nursing. And they are not just filling roles, they are making a real impact. And what's amazing is how they are able to bring fresh perspective and contribute to improving practices. And with the skills they have gained, whether it's in leadership or management or specialized technical knowledge, they have been able to rise quickly and really stand out. And it's a perfect example of how international education is not just about getting a degree, but it's about developing the right skill to thrive in any environment.
Yeah, in fact, I mean to highlight the government data, which shares that there's a growth of 62.2% of Indian students going abroad, and over the past 5 years, in excluding the pandemic. But how do you think it has impacted? It's kind of pretty fascinating, right? Now, how has it impacted not just when it comes to its business prospect, but in general globally, and how they have gained that?
Absolutely. So it's pretty fascinating when you look at the numbers. Government data shows a 52.2% increase in Indian students studying abroad, like you said, over the past 5 years. And that's a huge jump. It really reflects the growing desire among the Indian students to explore global opportunities and access world-class education. And you can see it in the variety of fields they are choosing, whether it's technology or healthcare or business. I think students are not only pursuing higher education, but also positioning themselves to compete on the global stage. And I think the rise in numbers also points to the confidence they have in the value of the international education and the doors that it opens for them, both academically and professionally.
Before I let you go, there's one last question that I would like to ask you about OI's vision for the future. How we are navigating challenges this year has been a bit low, high for the entire sector. How and why OI still remains the best choice for Indian students?
Right. At OIS, our vision to the future is to continue providing the best opportunities for the students while also ensuring that we stay ahead of the curve in this evolving education landscape. And we are focused on helping students access world class education by working closely with the institutions to create the seamless experience for them. And of course, isn't the journey isn't without any challenges. We are always working on overcoming barriers, whether it's dealing with visa regulations or ensuring students are prepared for the cultural and academic shift of studying abroad. I think what sets OIS apart is our deep understanding of these challenges and our commitment to supporting students at every step of the way. And OIS remains the best choice because of our deep industry knowledge and extensive network of trusted partners and our commitment to student success. So we are always evolving and ensuring that we provide the right solution to meet the needs of both the institutions and the students.
Thank you so much for your time. It was a fruitful discussion, and thank you for sharing all the information. It's kind of a conversation.
Thank you for having me back here. It was a pleasure sharing knowledge and insights. And I wish you all the success with your podcast.
Thank you.